Yes, good afternoon, YouTube. This is the ShallowCross Sports Network with the Double A. I'm bringing you another show. It's been a while since I've had a show, but it's going to be a pretty good show today. And with that said, let's get right on into it. Tennessee, right off the bat, Tennessee has got a 865 weekend coming up live, where they're going to have several players in from all over the place. There will be some players who have already previously committed to other schools, and there will be some players that was available still for 2026 as well as 2027 coming in for visits. So it's a big thing they're putting it on, and it's a big thing that they're going to have that to this weekend. But anyway, Tennessee's still doing pretty good. They've been stagnant with the transfer portal a little in football as well as recruiting. But just last night, the big news was they picked up a recruit from Cross Plains, Tennessee, East Robertson High School, Zach Groves. Zach is about 6'4", listed at 240 pounds, rated as a 4-star on 3, and rated as a 4-star at 24/7. ESPN has him in their ratings also as a 4-star. So he's a consensus 4-star player, recruited by Coach Garner and Coach Harmon, who's the outside linebackers coach. And looks like he's going to be a pretty good player. And Tennessee's doing real well with picking up that player. They still in on a lot of players. Still have a chance of picking up Savion Hitter, the running back out of Virginia, and it's another edge rusher they're looking at also. But anyway, they're still hitting the streets, hitting the schools, looking for players to solidify the roster for 2025. And some of the players they're looking at is Jordan Evanson, elite corner, Zion Gibson, another 4-star elite corner player. And then they look at that Joel White. He's a athlete. He's going to be in there visiting this weekend. And along with some of the players that's already committed to Tennessee, and with players already committed to other schools. And so I'll try to get that list for you of the players that's visiting and pull it up for you. But let's look at Zach Groves. Zach Groves is the cousin of Carlos Groves, who was a power forward for Tennessee's basketball team at one time. And he has a brother playing linebacker for North Carolina State. And he has another brother playing running back for Austin P. So the family is very talented, and he's just the youngest one of all of them. He says that they have a big history of Tennessee, people going to Tennessee to play sports. So he liked Coach Garner, and he also liked Coach Chop Harvard, and he picked Tennessee over USC, Georgia, looks like Arkansas, Auburn, Charlotte, East Kentucky. There was several schools in there on it, and he picked them over them. Just looking at it, from looking at it on film, Zach Groves plays the run real well, and he's developed some moves as maybe a swim move or a spin move at that defensive end spot. At the point of contact, he's very good at shedding blockers, from what I see. And so he'll be an asset for Tennessee, and he may be able to. He may even outgrow that Leo position. He may be able to play that strong end over there that Dominic Bailey's going to play for Tennessee this year. So I'm just happy to see him get that player. Other news, the Tennessee's waiting on that resolution to be settled, House resolution that's ruling about NIL play, NIL pay, and transfer portal, and how they're going to look at coming up with some provisions for how they're going to control players' contracts or whatever. And there will be some contractual issues coming out of this. The other thing, too, is they're looking at going from 87 players for FBS up to 105. And if that's just FBS or just FCS, I don't really know at this time. I know if it's FCS, that would help FCS get more players. Will they have the money to go and up against the big schools for NIL? In addition to what I mentioned just a minute ago, there will be some provisions for how much NIL money that can be paid to players, that a school can play for players, and I think it's going to be capped off at like $20.5 million. And so that right there is going to hurt some schools. Some schools are not going to be able to compete with that kind of money, spending that kind of money on NIL. The other thing too, just looking at it, is Zakai Ziegler in basketball. He has filed a suit against the NCAA, and he's asking for. He played 4 years at Tennessee. He's asking that he didn't get an opportunity to play in his redshirt year, and he's waiting to see if they'll grant him at 5th year. Now, just looking at it, he's not going to the NBA. I mean, he can play pro ball, probably overseas or whatever, and he could get a chance at the NBA. The problem is he can make about $3 or $4 million in NIL money coming back and playing somewhere else, or either trying to play at Tennessee at that last slot that they have. And then another player, from what I understand, is Jordan Gainey. Gainey, he's probably going to do the same thing, try to petition for a 5th year. And of course, Stone Dunbar, he's already went in the portal trying to leave, and he's trying to get that 5th year also. So we have to just wait and see what the NCAA is going to say about that and how it's going to turn out. Right now, the Vols men's baseball is getting ready or even starting in the baseball tournament. And I think that's for SEC right now. And then the women are in the NCAA tournament, I think, right now, and they still rolling. I think they just beat Ohio State over the weekend, this past weekend. So they're doing real well in that. Aguilar, the new quarterback, made it to town. I think he got to Tennessee. I don't know if it was this weekend or the beginning of this week, but Aguilar's there, and he's going to battle Merkenberger and the kid from McIntyre from over there in Brentwood. He's going to battle them for the starting job this year. We just have to wait and see how that turns out. But it looks like Tennessee is set in most of the positions right now as far as depth chart. And just looking at it here, this is ourlads.com, ourlads.com. You know, they have pretty good assessment of what Tennessee's going to do as far as depth this year. Of course, right down, just looking at it right off the back in purple, I see David Sanders as starting right tackle. And then it looks like everybody are the same. I see Matthews at the wide receiver, the X, and at the Z, Brazel. And at the Y, Braylon Staley with the Jefferson and Jackson and Smith holding down slots on the second team. And Jakeem Dotson, another freshman, he's there. Trey Weary, as well as Dayton Sneed. Is that Dayton Sneed? I think Dayton Sneed may have transferred out. But anyway, that's the receiver setup right now. Looks like you got pretty good depth at the offensive line, and that's going to really hold well for Tennessee coming down the stretch. But the defensive side of the ball is pretty well set with Dominic Bailey at that strong end, and the nose tackle is Jackson Moe, and then Bryson Easton at the defensive tackle, and Leo is Joshua Joseph. Joseph's probably going to turn into a really, really high draft pick this year in the NFL if he has a great season barring any injury. And then you have T. Lander at the middle linebacker, as well as Aaron Carter. Both of those guys are playing well. And then you get Jamal McCoy, who's listed as an All-American at the end of the season last year. And he's picked for first-team All-American again this year. And he's also in a lot of mock drafts as a first rounder. And so hopefully he's hurt. He'll be able to get back. I don't know if he has Achilles or ACL, but hopefully we can get him back at least before the beginning of the season, or somewhere where he's not gone too long. And then of course you got Farouk playing at the free safety, Turrentine at the strong safety, and then you got Jackson Matthews there as well, and free safety Farouk. And I think if someone else is going to probably slide into that free safety position also. And of course, I think you got Boo Carter that's playing at nickelback, and Jordan Thomas playing at backing him up, and then McMurray. He's also a good corner also, so I think he can play a little nickel too. So we just got to look and see who they're going to put in there with Farouk at safety. And of course, you're looking at Jackson Ross as the punter, and then of course Max Gilbert as the place kicker with Tuberville backing both of those guys up. So Boo Carter's going to be your lead punt returner, according to our lads. This is just according to our lads. Our lads gets their updates from Tennessee's athletic department, and they give him information, and that's where he gets his information from. That's the story right now. Tennessee also made some offers to some legacy kids for 2027. Let's see, who was it? It was Peace. It was a linebacker named Peace, an old guy that played a long time ago, and his son is a linebacker there. Tennessee made an offer to him. I think they're in-state kids, all three of these kids, except for Witten. And then Kevin Simon, his kid plays over there in Knoxville, as well as Jason Witten's, J.C. Witten, who is Jason Witten's son. And then there's a little bit more news on basketball. Chaz Lanier was selected to the combine. He went to the combine and shot the ball well. Had like a 42-inch vertical leap. and that was very good for him. Shot 77% from the field, and so he looked real well for the scouts. Don't think he's gonna bust into the first round of the draft, which is coming up in June. But I'm thinking that Chaz Lanier is going to go in the second round to some team that really needs a real good shooter coming off the bench. But with that said, I think Niko Milovic, he was also invited to the combine for the G League, and so I think he went there to work out for them. And so I don't know what the outcome of that was for Milovic. But, and of course, I told you earlier about Zakai Ziegler and Jordan Gainey probably coming back for a 5th year in basketball. Now, just looking at that, Gainey will probably be more valuable to Tennessee because of his size than Ziegler would be, because I think they're down to only one scholarship left that's available. So, just looking at that, it's going to be tough for both those players to come back and play. But anyway, that's going to end the show for Tennessee, and next show is going to be I'm going to be covering Tennessee State Big Blue Tigers in this next segment. So I'm going to take a little 5-second or 10-second break here. Okay, talking about Tennessee State University, and the Tennessee State University had a new coach. Eddie George went to Bowling Green, like everyone knows, and Tennessee State had lost a lot of players. They had several players leave and sign with other teams. They had 5 or 6 go to Power 5 schools. In particular, the linebacker. Let me see here. Here's Sanders Ellis. He went around a couple of schools, and then finally he settled on Purdue. And then, of course, we had the Rock Karate Benson, wide receiver. He committed to Wake Forest. So that's 2 of the bigger names that left. They had several other guys. I think one offensive lineman went to Nevada. And they had a kid go to Florida A&M. And so they, there's a lot of those guys. There's about 4 or 5 out there from Tennessee State that never picked up a new team. And so just looking at my list here, Connor Meadows went to, he was a transfer from Tennessee. He went to the University of Central Florida. And then his brother Ace, he came in right out of high school. He went to Jackson State University. And so that was some of the departures. And I think Alibi, I think Dalaby or something like that, big offensive lineman, Tennessee State. I think he went to Nevada in the portal, in the transfer portal. Now, just looking at it, Tennessee State went out and signed a A new defensive line coach, Cedric Thornton, a wealth of experience, played about 8 years in the NFL as a defensive lineman, and then he also was a graduate of Alabama A&M, and he's coming in to be the defensive line coach. And of course, you know Kevin Barlow. He's a former NFL player as the head coach, and he brought in Greg Williams. I don't think the full staff at TSU is there yet, but once I find out that that's happening and it's happened, we'll let you know. I think they're still trying to work out some of the details, but it looks like Fred Koss was coming. It looks like Efren Heron, that used to be the offensive line coach, he's coming to coach the offensive line. Don't know what Fred Koss is going to do. And then, of course, they kept Kevin Mashack. He was the lead recruiter. He stayed here. So he stayed at Tennessee State. And then it looks like the whole entire weightlifting and conditioning team that Eddie George had stayed at Tennessee State. But just looking at what they've done since Kevin Barlow has taken over, they've in the portal they've signed a Kendrick Rhymes from Southern University, a Brendan Hale, safety from Southern Utah, Elijah Bivens, a linebacker from Towson State, Jaden Cook, a cornerback, transfer from Florida State, Jackson Howell, Alabama, offensive tackle, transfer in the portal, Breon Brown from James Madison, another transfer in the portal, Jonathan Palmer, offensive tackle. Jonathan Palmer is a quarterback. Don't know where he's from. Have to look it up. And then you got Caleb McQuarrie from Troy State. And then you got Jackson Howell, Brooke Montgomery, Caleb Reed, Nick Cyrus, another quarterback out of New York, and then Jalen Willis. So that's just a few names of players they brought in. It looks like it's about 11 or 12. And then they also, in the portal, got a transfer, Ravon Johnson, 6'6", 220. He's an edge rusher, and he's transferring to Tennessee State from Alabama A&M. So as I get updates in, I'll be able to report on what's going on with the Big Blue, Tennessee State, and we'll see how everything shape out. Got a tough schedule coming up. They play the first game in August. I think that's against North Carolina A&T, and then the second game is against North Dakota State. That's going to be in Nissan. So that's going to be a big game for Tennessee State, and we'll just see how they do. And with that said, we're going to move on to another school. I'm going to take a quick break here, and then I'm going to bring up Middle Tennessee. Now I'm working on pulling that Middle Tennessee stuff up for you. I'm going to go over here and see what we got, what we can find on them. But from all indications, Middle has done a fairly good job of recruiting. And figure out, pull up what Middle's doing here real quick. Derek Mason's the head coach at Middle Tennessee. I think he's in his second year, maybe a third. I think he may be in his second year. And so he's trying to build that program up. Of course, they're in the Conference USA. And don't know exactly how he's doing because I haven't reported on him in a long time. But it doesn't look like he's in the top. Doesn't look like Middle's in the top 105 in recruiting. Let me see. But let me see here. Conference USA. Here we go. Let me see here. But it looks like with this NIL stuff going on, it's a constant struggle. And a lot of schools now don't want to put their information out here on these boards because schools will grab your players based on what they see out here. But let's look at what he did for 2025. Let's see here. Let me bring it over there to you. But so just looking at what Derek Mason's doing up there, you know, most of these schools in the Conference USA, they have to live off of 3-star players. They don't get the 4 stars like Tennessee and Vanderbilt get. And every once in a while they might get one. You know, Memphis does pretty good with 4 stars. They get quite a few 4 stars, but the majority of their players are 3s. And but just looking at it, he's got most of these kids for 2025 already enrolled. Some of them on, some of them assigned. Just looking at let's see what he's got in the transfer portal. Let's see, you got Joseph Libanowski, transfer from Ohio. You got Jawan Gaston. He's a transfer from Houston. And then Kenora, looks like Stokes, UCF, transfer, Ricky Hunt Jr., Tulsa transfer in. A.J. Jones, a transfer from Arizona. Ikana Tano, he's a transfer in. Jacob Otis, another transfer in. Alex Mitchell from Chattanooga transfer. Tavion Galloway, transfer from Purdue. Then you got, let's see here, C.J. Harris, Auburn transfer, and Hunter Tipton, transfer from Louisiana Tech, and Tyree, looks like Tyree Patterson, UCF transfer. So he's got quite a few. Let me see here. For 2025, looks like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 commitments from out of the high school ranks, and about 1, 2, 3, 13 or so transfer portal players coming in. So we just have to see what happens with that. Right now they're not showing any of those players in the portal as being signed or whatever. But they probably came on in, and but like I said, it's going to be take a little while for Derek Mason to build that program up to where they can compete. The older coach that left, he had been there, Stockstill, I think his name was. He had been there for years. And I don't know, I guess they just wanted to change the culture or whatever, or move on from him. But he has some pretty good ball clubs, some pretty good teams. And I think he wound up moving to Florida State. But with that said, that's going to end this show, and then I'm going to pick up with Memphis and Vandy on the next round, the next show that I do, and then give you some updates on when I find out more stuff about the 865 Live for Tennessee this weekend. Now, last but not least, the Memphis Tigers are putting on a recruiting camp sometime, I think, in June. They're going to have 90 schools there. And then Tennessee State is also putting on a recruiting camp in June. I think it's June the 12th. And they're going to have 50 universities in there. And it's like a recruiting, mega recruiting show. And so that's happening out there at Tennessee State. A lot of Power 5 schools and some FCS schools, same way with the one that Memphis is putting on. But anyway, with that said, let's go end the show. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And if you want to hear about anything or ask any questions, put it in the comments and get back to me, or email me. I think my email is on there somewhere. And let me know what you want to hear about. But that concludes this show. This is ShallowCross Sports Network. This is the AA. We'll see you on the next show.